So I think it's about time we give this one some individual coverage. I'm going to be giving you my full review on Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Now there's a good possibility that I've reviewed this one in the past, but you know, those videos from a couple years ago are a little bit, you don't want to watch them. You know, I'll probably be saying the same exact thing about these videos right now and a couple years from now, but I do feel like I've come a long way and I would like to go ahead and revisit this one because my opinion has also changed on this one over the years. And also the reason why I'm choosing to go ahead and bring this one up now for a standalone review is that it's back in stock now. So a lot of you guys I know have been waiting to pick this one up. You see it featured, but it's been out of stock everywhere. And even on Guerlain's official website here in the United States, it wasn't even on there for purchase. So you really could not get your hands on this one for a good amount of time, but it is back in stock on Fragrance Net. I will link it down below. And make sure you use that link down below because that will automatically apply the 37% off code. So that way you get it for the best possible price you can. A lot of times if you just go to their website and start shopping around, they'll only try to give you the 25% off, so link down below, 37, and that code will be applied to everything, so you can go through and grab some other stuff and take advantage of that discount. I don't know how long they're going to keep the 37 out because I did take it away for a while, so I would jump on that. And I also think we need to go ahead and jump on this one. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs, when you can wear it, and if I think it's worth picking up, let's get some. So what's this fragrance all about? When you first spray it on, immediately you get a combination of a couple notes which makes it very unique and really makes it stand out. And those two notes is almond and cherry. So it really opens up quite strong. Okay, the almond gives it this creamy, nutty texture. The cherry gives it this kind of sour fruitiness. So it does open up a little bit sour with a little bit of a sweetness, this nice dusty powdery almond note. That's kind of what you're greeted with here. I would like to go ahead and take a look at the full note breakdown because there are more notes here than you may initially expect. Up top we have almond, spices, lavender, bergamot, thyme, and rosemary. In the mid we have cherry, vanilla, incense, and rose. And in the base we have leather, tonka bean, and sandalwood. So there's a good amount of heft behind this fragrance here. There's more notes than I remembered there being. So let's break this down. What else do I get? Obviously the notes I just talked about. But I also get some of the vanilla. So what that does is that tends to come in after it's started to dry down a little bit. You don't pick up on it right away. Once you start working into the mid, the vanilla comes through, and so that's giving it a little bit more of a sweetness. There's an incense note, and to be honest, I get a little bit of incense, but not all that much. So it's not incredibly smoky, like for example, L'Homme Ideal L'Intense. That one has smoke as a note and also like chili pepper and stuff. That one's more smoky and spicy than this one, so you pick up on hints of it. I do also get some of the tonka bean. Now that tonka bean kind of complements the almond, and the two of those together make up a nice powdery kind of semi-sweet base. You get a little bit of leather as well. It's not overpowering. It's not to the extent of like ombre leather by Tom Ford or Tuscan leather, you know, something along those lines. The leather in here is more refined. It's more in the background, just adding some support. So one thing you'll find about this fragrance is the more you wear it and the more you analyze it, the more you'll realize that this one does pack a punch. You know, there is some depth behind this one. A lot of times from fragrances out there, whether it be designer or niche, this one kind of technically is niche, but I know people kind of go both ways of it. Just with fragrances in general, you could get into something that you maybe only pick up on a couple of notes. You know, you hear people talk about, I get this, this, and this, maybe handful, 2, 3, 4 notes, and maybe that's all you really get. But with this one, you find that there is more to it than just the cherry and almond like people make it out to be, or at least that's what's thrown around all the time. Oh, it's a cherry almond fragrance. Yes, it is, but you also get some of these other notes as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Maybe that'll be good news for you because you'll find that it is more interesting, or maybe that would be something that you would want to sample first, given that you may not like some of those other notes. So there's something to keep in mind there. For me, I like that it has a good amount of substance to it. This is one where I can wear it, smell it all the time, and it's almost like each time I smell it, I pick up on something new, or I notice something different about it. The way it develops on my skin is a bit different, so it's one that can keep you hooked for a long time. Let's go ahead and touch on performance here. On my skin, typically longevity is going to be sitting around 7, 8, 9 hours, somewhere around in there. Obviously, an eau de parfum, so with that, higher concentration does come with something. So with that higher concentration does come a fragrance that will stick around on the skin a bit longer. Now with that being said, given the higher concentration in EDP, I find on my skin the projection is toned back a little bit. So a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, the higher up you go in terms of your concentration, the closer to the skin it will sit. It will last longer, but not project as much due to the alcohol content. And so I find a similar thing going on here. But with that being said, what it lacks in projection distance, it makes up for in its trail. So it'll leave a really nice trail behind you, and it will linger in the air for a long time. And for me, I really like that. You know, if I were given the opportunity to choose between two types of performance, like if I was having my own fragrance made and it was as simple as, you know, just pointing a finger and saying how I wanted it to perform, which is not how it works, unfortunately. But if it was that easy and I could choose between, you know, strong, high distance projection or closer to the skin but trail, I'd choose trail. You know, I like that it lingers in the air even when I've left the room. I like that people walking behind me can smell it like that. I take that type of performance over super loud projection, but everyone's different, so that's something to keep in mind here. A fragrance with refined performance like this does give it more of like a gentleman's, you know, well-rounded feel overall because it's not too crazy loud or obnoxious. In terms of when you can wear this one, it's going to be more of a cooler weather scent, so this time of year, absolutely perfect for this fragrance. Couldn't be better, or that is if you live somewhere where it's colder outside. Evenings, daytime, really doesn't matter. To me, it is more of an evening leaning scent for me, one that I would reach for if I was going out to dinner or something like that because of its classiness, but it doesn't have to be. You could wear it anytime. The quality on this one is phenomenal. It is very smooth from opening to dry down. There's nothing that is screechy or unnatural or synthetic about this one, and really you wouldn't expect there to be. I mean, it's a Guerlain fragrance. They produce some of the best fragrances out there for the price in terms of quality. It's all subjective, of course, but I really do think they make a lot of great stuff. And so I would never expect, you know, one of these fragrances to be low quality, and it's definitely not. It lives up to the brand reputation and even the price point very well. And now the price point's always going to be everywhere because of the in-stock, out-of-stock, supply and demand thing that happens with fragrances like this. Right now, I believe it's $74 on FragranceNet with a 37% off. That's not cheap, but it's also not terribly expensive. It doesn't cost as much as a Chanel or a Dior, but yet it also does cost more than a Versace or a you know, Dolce & Gabbana. Now again, if this is one that you would classify as a niche fragrance, that $74 price point is out of this world crazy good. So it all depends on how you like to look at it. Everything can be perceived differently here. But I will say this, all in all, I think for $74, this is an absolute no-brainer. I would not have a problem paying that price for it. I would buy it at $100 if I had to. Let's talk about compliment factor real quick here. It's going to be a good compliment getter. Now, I always feel like I have to say this, but it's not going to live up to the expectations of a Sauvage type scent, a blue fragrance, right? And I think that's something that most of us can understand. But I think a lot of people maybe would get spoiled with fragrances like that. And when they move over to something different here and they're not pulling the same type of compliments, they may be thrown off. So that's something to keep in mind also. It's not going to be on that level. But what you'll find is when you wear this, you almost develop a different type of confidence. You develop this great feeling about yourself. You know, it's a truly refined, gentleman's fragrance. It's one that makes you feel kind of luxurious. You know, you feel like you're just wearing something very special, very unique. And so when you feel that way and you're carrying yourself with that type of confidence, I think that will also trickle over into how you're carrying yourself and how people perceive you. And I think that will also help with the amount of compliments that you get from this one. All in all, it does do well. It's a different fragrance. It's one that turns heads, and it's one that gives you more of those wow reactions because it is different. Alrighty guys, I think that's going to do it for me. That is my full updated review on L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Absolutely great fragrance. I'm glad that it's in stock here, at least for a little bit of time, so I can talk about it and not feel bad. That means you guys can get it now. Before, I was kind of, pushing it out of some lists because you guys couldn't get it, right? And I feel like that's not fully fair for me to talk highly of something that is really hard to get for the time being. So now that it's back, I'll be able to include it a bit more. And like I said, if you've been wanting a bottle, jump on it. I've made some community posts, and a lot of you guys have said that you picked one up, and so I'm glad to see that. Jump on it before it goes out of stock again, and then you have to wait around for it to come back, right? Just get it if you've been wanting it. You're not going to be disappointed. That's going to do it for me. Let me know down below your thoughts on L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Is it your favorite from the line? If it's not, what is? And remember that link down below will take you to FragranceNet and automatically apply the 37% off. Make sure you use that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great holiday time coming up here in about a week. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Like always, take care.